Hey YouTube, it's January 24th, 2025, and tonight we're going to do a crash course on how to sue state government dirtbags in federal court. For those of you who don't know, my kids were kidnapped by government losers over 3 years ago. I'm now suing them all in the United States District Court in Nevada and also in the United States District Court in San Francisco. I currently have a preliminary injunction appeal at the Ninth Circuit. Answering briefs are due today, and we're going to see what happens with that. I have already survived several motions to dismiss, which is the biggest hurdle self-represented litigants face in federal court. Here are the basics of what you need to know. Article 3 of the United States Constitution covers the federal judiciary. The lower courts in the federal judiciary are created by Congress. You need to find a statute that you can sue under. There are two that I recommend. The first one is 42 U.S.C. 1983. If you look at that, it says that if a state government loser violates your rights under the color of state law, you can sue them. There's a particular provision in there about state judges, so you need to watch out. It says you have to seek declaratory relief before you can sue a judge for injunctive relief. You cannot sue a judge for money damages, so don't even try. Of course, there is an exception, but we're not going to get into that tonight. Let's talk about the other immunities real quick. Judicial immunity is a subset of absolute immunity. Another version of absolute immunity is prosecutorial immunity. You cannot sue prosecutors for what they do to you in court, no matter how malicious, except unless they lie under oath. If they lie under oath, they're not acting as a prosecutor, they're acting as a witness. I'll put the case up on the screen. You also have to worry about qualified immunity. I recommend highly that you go exploring on my channel to learn all about qualified immunity. I have dozens and dozens of U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals cases up on my channel discussing qualified immunity. In essence, what qualified immunity says is that government losers have to be put on notice that something is violating your rights. In other words, they have to have a fair chance of knowing that what they're doing is violating your rights. If they didn't know, if there was no notice, then they are protected from money damages. These immunities, for the most part, do not apply to injunctive relief, which is another version of relief. You can ask a court to order that something stop happening or that something start happening. Look into injunctive relief. Look into declaratory relief. That's the other statute that I recommend, 28 U.S.C. 2201. Speaking of Title 28 of the United States Code, I recommend you start exploring through that. That's the part of the United States Code that governs the courts. If you go to 28 U.S.C. Part 4, you'll find where the courts get their jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is very important. There are two main types of jurisdiction, subject matter jurisdiction and personal jurisdiction. Subject matter jurisdiction means that the court can hear the type of case that you're trying to bring to it. Federal courts have lots of different versions of subject matter jurisdiction. The big one is federal question jurisdiction. So if you're invoking your civil rights under 42 U.S.C. 1983, that is a federal question. That gives the federal courts original subject matter jurisdiction. There are other jurisdictions you need to look into. There's diversity of citizenship when the parties live in different states. There's also supplemental jurisdiction, which is very important. If you can get federal question jurisdiction in a federal court, that court then has supplemental jurisdiction for anything that's related. Supplemental means state law claims. That means you can bring in state law causes of action into your federal court case. Personal jurisdiction means that the court has jurisdiction over the person. Normally, the federal courts adopt the state law version of the personal jurisdiction rules or laws. In Nevada, where I live, we have a long-arm statute, which means personal jurisdiction reaches throughout the country as long as it doesn't violate due process. There's a case you should look into called International Shoe. I'll put that citation up on the screen. If you are trying to sue a government loser from another state, like for example, I'm suing several Californians, they have to have some tie to Nevada. In my case, they directed activity at Nevada. So if they directed activity at Nevada that had an effect in Nevada, the court should be able to exercise personal jurisdiction. I was not able to show that for all of the defendants, which is why I also have a case going on in San Francisco. Something else you need to keep in mind is venue. Venue is where is the case going to happen. So for example, in California, the California federal court may have personal jurisdiction over the parties that I'm suing. but I then have to choose the venue. So I'm suing El Dorado County. I'm also suing Santa Clara County. Which venue do you choose? It's where the events mostly happen. Make sure you study your federal rules of civil procedure. Those will help guide you on this. There are committee notes at the bottom of the rules. You can find them for free. Just Google Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. You also need to know about the federal rules of evidence. You don't need to digest all those rules at the beginning of your case. Just start going. Start taking baby steps and start going and learn as you go. Do not be afraid to make mistakes. It is the law of the land that they have to give you a chance to fix your mistakes. If you look into the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, you get one free amendment on your complaint. That means you file your complaint, you can serve it, you then get the chance to amend it once without asking for any permission from the court. After that, you have to ask for permission from the court. But the law of the land is the court must give you the chance to amend a complaint unless amendment would be futile. So if there's a mistake that is made, don't be afraid, just ask to fix it. When drafting your complaint, you're going to need to keep in mind Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 12B. These are defenses that can be raised, and there's 7 of them. Make sure you look at them, make sure you study them and understand them, and draft your complaint so as to conquer them right up front. No matter what you do, the opposing party is likely to file a motion to dismiss under Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 12B. If you did your job and drafted your complaint properly, it should be easy to defeat that. But again, if you made a mistake, don't worry about it. Just ask in your response for a chance to amend the complaint to fix it. If you can legitimately amend your complaint, the court has to let you do it. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about tonight is going to your federal court website for help. Go to the federal court where you're going to file your lawsuit. Go to that website. Look for the civil rights form to file a lawsuit. There's a form you can fill out to do it so that you don't have to type your complaint like a lawyer would. Follow the form. There's also usually a pro se handbook. Read the pro se handbook. Pro se means you're representing yourself. These handbooks are very useful. You have to worry about your statute of limitations. That's the last thing that I want to talk about. If you don't file your case quickly enough and the statute of limitations passes, it doesn't matter how meritorious your claims were, your case is dead. So that's why I'm telling you, file your case, learn as you go, and fix it later. That's it for tonight. I hope you learned something. I'm going to try to do more of these videos as I get more time. But right now, I'm very busy opening up whoop-ass cans on scumbag attorneys. And I'm going to keep doing that. So go look at my community tab if you want to see the orders that I've been posting from the judges in my federal cases. And I'll do my best to keep you guys up to date with videos as I can. I'll also be posting more immunity cases from the Ninth Circuit as soon as I can. Have a great night. Boys, I miss you terribly. I love you very much. I'm very proud of you, and I hope I see you soon.